Well, now we're getting into the second chapter of Genesis, but we're still not out of the first creation account. Genesis has two creation accounts, not separate, not different, but one is big picture. And then the second one, Genesis 2, beginning at verse 4, really narrows in on humanity itself and humanity's role. But here we have on day 7, Genesis 2, verses 1 through 3, a description of Sabbath. Now, there's some reasons for humility in how we talk about Sabbath, because it has been a source of division and has been a source of argument within the church. And maybe with a little more humility, we can create space for others, and we don't have to agree on the peripherals, but we want to agree on the essentials. First of all, there is no reference, this first 6 days of creation in Genesis chapter 1, though this is all one account, there's this phrase, there was evening and then there was morning. There was evening and there was morning to this seventh day. And that's there for potentially a number of different reasons that have been posited. I just want to reference this just to, if you're 6 literal 24-hour days or you're not, let's have some humility and give space to listen to those who may have different positions. Which day to observe as the Sabbath is another controversy that people who read the Bible and follow Jesus have argued about, or how to observe the Sabbath. This thought came across to me as I was reading this morning on this section of Scripture. Humanity was created on day 6. The Sabbath was day 7, which would have been, from their experience, day 1. And all I mean to reference from that is Paul to the church in Colossae, chapter 2, verses 16 and 17, encourages the church there to not make legalistic observance of Sabbath, how you observe the Sabbath, which day you observe the Sabbath, to be a legalistic thing. And we've struggled with that at times. Some of you listening to this, you work a job where you're called into work on a Sunday, and that's your reality. In the early church, most of the Christians were slaves. They didn't get to choose which day they worked, which day they didn't. So what does Sabbath mean? Well, the word Sabbath itself means to cease, to stop. And so we have God ceasing from the creating work. Now, God didn't stop working. God is continuing to be at work. He would work among his people. He would walk with Adam and Eve. But the act of creating, of ordering things, of putting things into their place that we see in Genesis 1, that part was done. It was very good. Things were in place. Things were operating, and God ceased from that. And as we will continue to see through the scriptures, there is this theme where we are called to rest from our work, to celebrate, to remember, to reflect on what God has done. And that's what's at the origin here, is as we'll see it developed within the 10 Commandments in the book of Exodus and later on throughout the scriptures. Here is the genesis of a pattern God has made humanity for, to cease from our work 1 day in 7, at minimum, to rest, to reflect on what God has done, and to celebrate who God is and what he has done. And as followers of Jesus, long after now the resurrection, we have even more reason to celebrate as we gather together on a day that is for many of us, but not all of us, our Sabbath. But it is a time to rest, to reflect, and to celebrate. So here's my question for you today. How do you observe, can't say that word this morning. How can you observe Sabbath, where you are intentionally resting, reflecting on what God has done, and celebrating Him? May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make His face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious to you. And today, may you know His peace. God bless.